Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we will be creating a full layout using HTML, CSS and Bootstrap. The reason I use Bootstrap so much is because it makes it easier for me to create responsive layouts. So let's get into it. I'm right here in my folder called index.html. I have this required Bootstrap CSS, my own styles sheet and some fonts. And I also have a script source right here for JavaScript that is required for Bootstrap. And let's just go live so you can see the project. And this is it right here. We have a Nav section, a little text section, a few cards, well 3 cards, a table section, I think this is H2, and a footer. And a little credit just to the photographers on Unsplash. That's where I got these pictures from. So this layer is completely responsive. Right here, let me just show you. Come to the top, eventually it'll come to a point where you see the nav bar breaks. There we go. Nav bar breaks, it gives us a drop down and all our cards changed. Right here, completely responsive. You can keep on going down, keep on increasing and everything will change as you increase size. There you go, a completely responsive layout. Let's get into it. So, the first thing you're doing is creating our container and nav section. So, div class of container. In Bootstrap, containers limit the horizontal width of your container. Then I have my own class main container right here. We'll get into why it does just now. Then we have my nav class created with the nav bar expand medium. The reason you add these classes, nav bar, is to instantiate that it is a nav bar, and as for nav bar expand medium, it's the breaking point at which the nav bar breaks into a drop down section. I right now have an href leading to nowhere, obviously a nav bar brand right here with the house of gains, and then I have this SVG. I did not code this from scratch, I just pulled this off the Bootstrap website. The next thing we have is our button class right here. This creates our drop down with nav bar toggler, drop down toggle, type of course of button, a data BS of collapse, a data BS toggle of nav bar supported content, area controls of nav bar supported content, area expand false, and area label toggle navigation. And honestly, I'm not sure what majority of these do, but I do know it's required for the Bootstrap drop down. Then we have our span class of nav bar toggle icon, and this creates our drop down. The next part we have is our content within our nav bar. The first thing we do is create a div with the class of collapse, nav bar collapse. The ID here is the same as the ID on the data BS target right here. Then we have an unordered list with a class of nav bar nav with MS auto. MS auto pushes all our objects to the right. Then we have a list item class with a class of nav item with an href going to nowhere with a nav link to instantiate that it is a nav link with the class also of active. This just highlights the first whatever has the active class on it. Company program special offers. Right here, company program special offers. You see I have this little text styling going on. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, now let's jump right, and I also have this HR class of my4 style margin bottom padding bottom at 0. That just creates this horizontal strike through line right here. Let's jump into the styling. Let's close all this down. So on my all my elements, I have box sizing of border box, I have body margin 0, a font family, and a font size rem. My main container right here, I have a margin on all objects within the main container of 1 rem auto. I have padding of 0.25 rem, align item center to get all my items in the center, text decoration of none, a color of black, a font family, a text transform of uppercase, and a font size of 1.85 rem. Then the nav bar toggle, I have this background color. I may change it, just change to show you what's happening. I don't like that. Let's just go green. Let's break this. I didn't save it. There we go. Just creates a drop down. It's quite large. The reason I made the drop down so large is to show you what's actually happening, but I don't think it should ever be this large. Maybe let's just go back to the code. A padding of 1 rem to increase the size. If you make this smaller, the box will obviously become smaller. probably look a little weird. There we go, it got a little smaller. Let's go back to the code. Then on the navbar button I have a font size of 1.5 rem, a font family, and a padding. The font size increases the font size, the padding increases space around our object or around the text. Then on the navbar brand I have a hover. So when I hover it, the opacity decreases to 0.7, the color changes to black, and the font size right here, notice, will increase when I hover. There we go. House of gain, same thing again. Nav item, nothing on that. On nav link I have the color of black and a font size of 1.55 rem, and a nav link on hover I also have a text transform for uppercase. Notice they all become uppercase when I hover over them. Now let's jump back into the code of our HTML. Let's just close down the navbar. Next thing we have is our second container. So again, a class of container to manage the horizontal width or to limit the horizontal width. If it's container fluid, it will stretch to the entire width of the container. So if I had this instead, but I don't. Next I have the div class of Jumbotron. In Bootstrap, think of a Jumbotron as a specialized text area. That's all. With a PT of 2, this adds a padding top of 2. An H2 class with display 4 with programs. All this display 4 does is add some text stylings. So if I were to go to it, this is programs right now. If I were to remove this and save everything, notice that it changes. It's text styling. So let's put that back, save that, and have the P class of lead, which again is text styling. A bunch of content right here. A span is a inline container, whereas div is a block container. Add the class of Jumbotron lead with strong best. So right here you'll notice this right here. It's a little larger, it's a little bold because of the span class. Let's close this Jumbotron down and go into the next section. This is the card section. So the first thing I do is I create a container fluid to give us the entire width of the container, a padding bottom of 3, and then a row with a margin bottom of 3. And now we start creating each card. So column small 12, this means on small screens it will take up 12 columns. On any screens larger than 12 it will take up 4 columns with a margin top of 2. A div class of card, an image source of unsplash, card body, card title with a underlined beginner, and then P class of card text with don't be a brat, burn that fat. An href reading to nowhere, of course, with a class of button large warning. Button creates it, turns the href, turns the a link into a button. The button large defines size, and the button warning defines color. So if we change this to success, save this, notice how it changes. Let's in fact change them all, and then I have this right here, the section right here, I have it 2 times. So 1, 2. So I'm not going to go over these, but I will change the color just to show you what's going on. So we have success, warning, let's go with danger. There we go. We have a green, slight red, and a yellowish color. So we'll draw off this card section. The next section we have is a container with the H2 class of text aligned, font size of 3 rem. The reason I did this inline because I added this at the end, so I wasn't sure. So I just figured instead of going into my style sheet, I'll just add all the changes inline. With compare programs with a text line of center, a font size of 3 rem, a font family of Oswald, and a margin body of 1 m. And we have this right here, compare programs. This is not down with Bootstrap, no, is this section right here, that little title. And now this is down Bootstrap. Over here I have a div class of deflex. This states that whatever is within this container will become display flex. Justify content of center, a margin top of 0, a padding top of 0, a style background color of the slight red color right here. That is this color right here. The next thing we have is a div with style with padding of 1 rem, 1 rem 0, and a table with a class of table, of course because it's required, and a column small of 12. Then we have a table head with table row and table scope with column, pound sign, beginner, advanced, master. That's this. Pound sign, beginner, advanced, master. Then we have table body with a table row and table scope of row, yes, 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 yes. That's just this, so yes, 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 no. And we have no access to spa, access to trainers, access to cardio room, access to flex room. And yeah, that's it. The only thing I will not be going over is the footer, because the footer I did not to completely do. Like, I did the footer from here and I copied this section, so I do not want to plagiarize someone else's work. So I'm just going to save this, go over, and this is the complete design. If you want me to code it in full, just let me know and I will do that. Or I'll code some other designs if you don't want me to do this one. But whatever you want, just let me know. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Drop a like. And